What's up, everybody? This is episode 5 of Matt Talk. I have my brother Vincent Rey with me. Nice to see you, Vincent.
Good to see you too.
You ready to get into it?
Let's do it, man.
All right, we're going to talk football. We're going to talk life. We're going to talk about his martial arts background. We're going to get into it all. All right. So why don't you start us out with just upbringing? Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, so I'm from Queens, New York.
Okay.
Born and raised in an area called Far Rockaway, close by the water. Both of my parents are from Brooklyn, and they raised myself, my sister, and my brother in Queens. And we ended up, we all went to different schools. So one of the cool things in New York, you can kind of choose what school you want to go to.
Is that right?
If you test in, you can go.
Okay.
And it's an interesting thing. So I played football since I was 7 years old. Always played different sports. But as I was approaching the age to get to high school, I wanted to go to a school that had a good football team.
Right.
And I wasn't able to go to the private schools, the Catholic schools, so I had to pick a public school. But a lot of schools in New York did not have football programs. So I wanted to go to the top football program in Queens. Only issue was it was a far travel.
Gotcha.
So I took 2 trains and a bus every day, 2 hours each way to get to school.
You're lying.
2 hours there, 2 hours back. Left the house.
That's what it takes, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, yes.
That's what it takes.
Left the house 5:55, almost 6. Walked to the bus stop, and I was at school by around 8:10. And school started 8:15 every day for 4 years.
So starting in 9th grade all the way to 12th.
Yes, 4 years. Yep.
So pretty much going into high school, you knew this is something you wanted to take very seriously.
Yes, I knew I wanted to play football, and then I was thinking baseball too, but I didn't have that kind of talent.
Okay. Man, because a lot of people, I talk to kids like, oh, I want to be a football player, I want to be a basketball player, but they're not doing that. Mm-mm. So what was it that really made you believe you could do it at such a young age?
So my freshman year, I'm in 9th grade, and the 2-hour travel, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if I would transfer maybe, but after my first year playing football on junior varsity, on JV, my coach, the head coach, I'll never forget it. I won an award, Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
Right? And as I'm getting the award, I'm walking back, he's saying, they used to call me Vinny Rey, right? He used to say, hey, Vinny Rey, he has talent. He can be a really good player. And that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
My father always told me I had talent, but to hear that from a coach also, it just affirmed in me like, hey, man, you never know. I don't know how good could I be? Maybe I could be a starter on varsity. Maybe I could be one of the better players in the city.
Dang.
Maybe I could one day play in college at a high level.
Wow.
And it all started there because no one put limits on me.
Yeah.
They didn't say, hey, you'll definitely go and be this great player, but they said you can do it. So that meant a lot to me, man. Hope.
Power of words, man. Power of words. That's impressive. Beautiful. So what was your pathway to the NFL? So obviously, you're doing a crazy commute, moving up the ranks through your city, state, starting to get some eyes on you. What was the next step after high school?
Yeah, so the next step, I didn't get any college offers, but I got Duke University said, hey, if you go to a prep school for a year, we'll offer you a scholarship next year.
Really?
Which this was a promise. I didn't have anything to bind them.
Just like a word.
Yeah, it was just a word.
Dang, wow.
I'm like, well, what's a prep school? Where's a prep school? And they say, hey, there's this place in Mercersburg, Pennsylvania called Mercersburg Academy, a small town. And I go there. I'm from Queens, New York, man. I've been in public school my whole life, raised there. And I'm going out to a small town. Yeah. Yep. Prep school, private school. I'm there. I'm what's called a postgraduate.
Okay.
And in this league, there's 4 postgraduates on every team with football, with wrestling, with all these other sports that I did track. And they're usually the leaders. They're usually the guys and the women who have full scholarship somewhere else. So I go there and I play well, get a chance to go to Duke, man, go there for 4 years. Ended up meeting my wife at Duke.
Is that right?
Yeah, then getting an opportunity in the NFL.
Okay. See, I did not know that part of your story there. Duke for 4 years. What was that? Did you like Duke?
I like Duke, man. I really did. So Duke was extremely hard academically. You would think like, okay, you're an athlete, you can get by, they'll let you do this or that. No,
freebies.
It was no freebies at all. So we would practice in the morning. We would have to be dressed and ready at 7:15 for meetings. So if meetings start at 7:15, you're really getting there at 7. By 7:10, you're in the meeting room.
Okay.
But you have to be dressed and ready. So you're entering the building by around 6:15, 6:30, meaning you're up before 6 every day. This is on school days.
This is in season, out of season?
No, this is just in the fall. This is like August through November.
Okay.
And class is after practice. So practice would go until 11, maybe 10:40, 11, and then we got class afterward.
Interesting. Okay, so you played at Duke, obviously did amazing. What was the transition from college to NFL? Let's just go down the line.
Yeah, so college we were in what's called the Atlantic Coastal Conference, the ACC.
Okay.
We're in the ACC and we're playing some good competition. This is why I wanted to go to Duke, was because I'm playing against the schools, teams like University of Miami, Florida State.
Yep.
You know, these Virginia Tech, University of Virginia. These schools have players every year that get opportunities in the NFL.
Sure.
And at Duke, we didn't have that at the time. But I was thinking, hey, if I play against these guys, maybe someone in the NFL would see me and say, hey, man, he's playing well against those guys. Maybe we give him an opportunity.
Sure.
And I was what you call an undrafted free agent when I left college, meaning you have the draft, which you have 7 rounds, maybe 250 selections.
Okay.
I was not selected.
Okay.
But because every team gets 90 players, a max of 90 players on the roster in the offseason.
Okay.
You get opportunities. A team gets an opportunity to bring in undrafted free agents who are kind of like second-tier guys. They say, hey, we have our draft picks, but we'll bring in some undrafted guys.
See what's out there.
You're getting a chance, but the way I see it, your leash is a lot shorter. And
that makes sense.
It was a fight, man. I come into training camp my rookie year. There's 90 guys on the roster. Only 53 are going to make the team. And you only get paid when you make the team.
Right. So you're funding the camp or what? Like the.
Well, they give you a stipend. Maybe
gotcha.
I think it was like a couple hundred, maybe $200 a week.
Okay.
I don't remember, 100, 200 a week.
Just
and they
enough
will
to
feed
eat
you.
and show up.
Yeah, just enough to eat dinner and stuff. Like they'll feed you breakfast and lunch, but the rest is on your own. You know. I didn't have a car at the time. So I'm riding with people,
Yeah,
I'm used to that. I'm from New York.
Yeah.
So man, it was a fight. Oh, by the way, as a rookie, I'm looking around the team in training camp. I know guys like Terrell Owens, he's going to make the team. Carson Palmer, Chad Johnson, these are guys who are going to make the team. They're guys who are all pro guys. Yeah. One of which already is in the Hall of Fame.
Jeez.
So I'm like, man, am I going to make it?
Yeah.
I used to be great in high school. I used to be great in college. Now I'm among greats.
Yeah,
greats
you were the big fish in the small pond. Now you're the small fish in the big pond.
Now the pond is huge.
Yeah, it's
everybody's
crazy.
big fish.
Yeah.
But how big am I?
Yeah.
So man, it was a fight, but it's just day by day. It was high stress.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. Tell me if I'm talking too much.
No,
man.
I love it. Yeah, keep it running.
So listen to this. We used to have training camp in a place in Kentucky called Georgetown.
Okay.
It was maybe about an hour south from here.
Okay.
And it was at a school, Georgetown College, and we would stay in the dorms. And there were about maybe 4 people per dorm. And I'm in the dorm. This is what would happen in training camp. You're sleeping, right? Because you're practicing hard in the heat, maybe twice a day, because there were 2 a days. And I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 knock at the door. Like 5 in the morning, the sun's not even up. You're like, whoa, what's going on? You have a guy who works for the team, comes in and goes to one of my roommates, one of the guys I was staying with, and says, hey, we're cutting you, meaning you're fired.
What? Right then?
Right then. Hey, pack your bags, give me your playbook, and here's a ticket. We have a van outside. There's a flight leaving at 8 a.m. for you. Here's a ticket. It's time for you to go.
So what's the story behind that? Was he causing issues, or was it just like, no, you're done, we don't need you anymore?
This is just how they did it.
That's just it. It sounds like a game show, like Survivor, pack your bags, like Jeff Probst, like snuffs your torch.
Yo,
that's crazy.
This is how they did it, man.
So yeah, I can see how it's high stress, right? Like,
high stress.
Could it be me next? Like, I got to put on every single day.
Every day you're performing. Oh, by the way, what if you have a sprained ankle? No. You know, now you're going to practice, but now you're not at your optimal level. So you have to find a way to get it done, no matter what injuries, what pains you're going through. Now, if you're really injured, then you can't go. But everyone's dealing with some ache or ailment, and you have to find a way. That's what these guys in the NFL are doing every day. And I just put day after day trying to make the team. Yeah. You can get fired at any moment. And, you know, I was able to play 9 years.
9 years. And that's actually was going to go to my next question. What was the key to your longevity? And is it true when they say it's harder to stay there than to get there?
Okay, so the key, man, to my longevity, I definitely did the things I was supposed to do, or a lot of things I was supposed to do, making sure I was flexible, making sure I was getting massages, meeting with my chiropractor every week. I had a schedule, and I had to stay to it.
Yep.
And the tendency is you don't stick to it because after a while you don't feel like it. Maybe when you're young in your career, you're like, man, I can just get up and go. I don't need to stretch, but it will catch up to you later on. But I think that was one of the keys to my success. Also knowing what to do on the field, knowing every position, not making the first mistake, because I realized that people in power, whether a position coach, a head coach, I don't know, a manager of a team, they want people who are reliable.
Sure.
So can they trust you to do what they're telling you to do? And
that's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
And I've learned that not everyone can be reliable over and over and over again. It gets tough.
Sure. Just
doing what you're coached to do, but yeah, instead of going out there and doing your own thing. So that's one thing, being reliable. But ultimately, there were things I couldn't control where, if not by the grace of God, I wouldn't have been on the team. Like, I control what I can, but there's things I can't control. Absolutely. And I'm grateful to play.
Over 9 years, I'm sure there's a lot you can't control. You know?
Over 9 years. And every year, man, there's a new guy coming in.
For your job.
And they're still 21. The next year, I'm 25, I'm 26, I'm 27. I have more injuries. I have, knee injury, shoulder injury, this and that, neck. And they're still 21, fresh. And I'm competing against them. And eventually, they will take my spot.
Okay, so that segues to the next question. What do you like about the way football is evolving, and what don't you like? Because you have fresh guys who probably been playing in better programs, like starter programs coming through. I mean, guys have to be getting better.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure the game's just evolving in all different aspects. Where do you see it going that you like, as far as maybe gameplay or coaching or whatever, and what do you see is like, it's changing in a way that I maybe don't like?
That's good, man. The thing I love most is, this will be an unpopular opinion, but I love the penalties on the head-to-head hits. I really appreciate that because I know guys now, I'm in my 30s, yep. I know guys who are my age who are struggling. Anxiety, stress, and I wonder if it has to do with the health of their brain. And just the hits, like if you're on offense, if you're a receiver and you're going across the middle trying to make a tough catch and you got a guy trying to knock you out, I love how now they're coaching it to say, hey, you're still gonna hit guys. It's still a full speed, full contact.
Or
yes,
not a head on.
Not head on. Yeah, it's in the right way you're hitting them.
Sure.
And that's great for the game. That's great for men, for people. Things I don't like, it's a little tough, man. I love so much of the game.
Yeah, okay.
I think I'll give you one thing here. Okay. This might sound like I'm complaining, people out there, but I see how the salaries for some players are really taking off. Like I would say quarterbacks, yep. Left tackles who are protecting the blind side of the quarterback, okay. Wide receivers, defensive ends. Because it's a passing league, I get it. Those players, whether you're throwing the ball, catching the ball, or getting the guy who's throwing the ball, those players, those salaries are taken off.
Okay.
But I don't see, there's certain positions that I don't see the salaries taking off as much.
Okay.
And I
Just
was
so
a
happened to be
linebacker.
one of your-
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just happened to be one of your-
I was a linebacker, and I don't see those salaries taking off for guys who are maybe the top guys. Those salaries are taking off, but mid-level guys,
Okay.
I don't see those salaries taking off.
Gotcha.
I want to see that.
And you know what it takes to be that position, and you know the ins and outs. I mean, I could understand that.
Yes.
Like, these guys, maybe it doesn't translate to the viewer as much, but like these are the guys. The team isn't the same without them. You know?
Yeah, that maybe the fans may not know of, but these guys are nuts and bolts for your team.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So obviously, I want to talk just a little bit about your training regimen. You talked about some of the auxiliary stuff, the massages, the chiropractor. But out of season, we talked before this, you got into some auxiliary training as well. And we'll have to circle back to some of your high school wrestling career, but you also got into Wing Chun. Tell me about what that experience was like, what got you into it in the first place, and that kind of stuff.
So Wing Chun, I wanted to get into it because when I got to the NFL, early in my career, they wanted me to rush the passer more.
Okay.
So try to get the quarterback, but I wasn't really a pass rusher. I knew how to keep a guy off of me and go and get the ball. Not really rush past him. I wasn't comfortable there. And Wing Chun, I thought, helped me with my hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
And that's why I took it. And I think it helped me.
Okay.
Because as my career went, I ended up being able to sack the quarterback, rush the passer, and I was useful there.
Oh, that's sweet.
That was the reason
and like
I did it.
that totally makes sense. Like the frames and the deflections of Wing Chun, and just being able to transfer momentum and go through a guy. That makes a lot of sense.
And this idea that Wing Chun is like, I was told that it's like you're being protected, like it's a bigger person. This is what somebody told me.
No, that makes
so offensive linemen are all bigger than me. I was a shorter player. So just having the leverage and hey, they're attacking me, I got to use my hands. That's why I took Wing Chun, and I'm thankful I did.
Yeah. How long did you do it for?
2 years.
2 years.
2 off seasons.
And what was the training like?
Man,
Very traditional.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah,
but I know one thing. I was sore from here, my knuckles, all the way down here. Guys just kept, and ladies, kept slapping me over here to the point where it was sore to touch, and then just kind of hitting the wall.
Doing those. Frame punches,
those things, hundreds of times. Jeez. But they helped me because it made me hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. People underestimate how much you can physically condition your bones. Because, same with fight sports. When I first started kicking the bag, like, I loved even taking beginners to the bag and just go ahead and throw off 50 kicks. And by that 10th one, they're, like, barely touching the bag. And, your bones literally do condense and frame up. I used to walk around high school just going like this, just knocking my bones together because, after a while, they start hardening up. So that's cool that you saw that, which I'm sure yours were already pretty hardened from smacking shoulder pads and...
Yeah, but not hard enough. Not like that. And then the push-ups and all the body weight things, I was more of a weights and body weight stuff. I was weak compared to everyone else in that room.
That's awesome. All right, we're back with Vinny. Next question I wanted to get into is, what is the mentality out there when things get they get real? You take a hit that maybe you shouldn't have, a penalty came that, the refs didn't see. You see some stuff on screen where, you can tell there's real emotions out there. But give us like the insight of just like what maybe the more like warlike mentality that sometimes comes out in football.
Yeah. So when I think of warlike mentality, let me tell you 2 things. One, the biggest improvement that I had in the NFL and that I think most players have is between year 1 and year 2.
Okay.
Because you've been used to going to school and football. You have other things you're doing, whereas in the NFL, you are a professional football player. You don't go to school. You don't do anything else. You're just worried about your body. So physically, you you see your most growth. And
that's interesting.
I remember playing against a guy where I was bigger than him and I was stronger, I was faster, everything, and I was dominating him. And so on special teams, it's very much so one-on-one battles.
Okay.
And I was just dominating him. I was throwing him on the floor, all legally too.
Oh, yeah.
Within the
Playing the
rules, man. He couldn't get away from me.
Game.
And it's just fun. That makes it fun when the person can't stop you.
Yeah,
You're just better.
Okay.
You know? But I've been on the other end.
Yeah, how's that feel?
You know, that does not feel good.
Yeah.
The guy going against you, he's taller, he's bigger. I'm slowing down. I'm 30, 31, and this guy's young. I can't do anything with him. I'm like, Lord help me. But
play after play.
Man, but when those things happen and somebody does something dirty, it's tough. It's tough because you don't want to get out of your element.
Sure.
And more importantly, you don't want the guys on your team out of your element because it's not one-on-one. It's a team game. So
Right.
I think I didn't take a whole lot personally.
Okay.
I was trying to win the game.
Yeah, it seems like your personality too.
You know,
You're such a
yeah.
nice guy.
I'm just trying to win the game,
I hear you.
I'm just trying to perform. Yeah, I want to do but I realized in the NFL, the more you win, the better it is for everyone.
Absolutely.
Everyone, continues to get paid more, continues to stay in the NFL, which is what they love. Some guys may have to graduate and go to another team if the team can't afford to pay them.
Yep.
But it's all good when you
Yeah.
win. So I
Absolutely.
understood that.
That's cool.
But I played with some guys who couldn't take it
Yeah.
if someone did something dirty to them. They were going to get them back tenfold. And they weren't realizing, hey, it's a team game, man. We're just trying to win. You know?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes
So-
sense. I mean, yeah, and you realize that that's actually a detriment to the team.
Yeah.
Long term. If you're out there on a vendetta and we're out there trying to put points on the board. You know what I mean?
And it happens all the time.
Yeah, okay.
Where, and it's not good.
Right.
It hurts the team, and people end up getting fired.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And you talk about team a lot, and that's something as someone who's, done pretty much an individual sport my whole life. It's something I've always kind of like loved about football specifically.
Yeah.
Because when I go out there, I mean, yeah, the coach coached me up. Yeah, the practice partners, help me get ready for the moment. But there's no one else out there. It's just me and another guy who shook hands and see who's got it and see who doesn't. But we train here like a team. But I've always thought, we talk about like going to war. We talk about like, that's just a common phrase in most sports. We're going to war out there. But in football, that's about as close as possible to real war. You got generals out on the field.
Yeah.
You got a coach who's like, a captain. Like,
Yep.
I mean, you got a team that does different things, different sizes, different positions, different goals. I mean, it's fascinating to me. What does it feel like that sometimes? Like, does it feel like even the brotherhood and just the mentality of going out there?
Yeah, I would say it's like almost nothing like it to be in it with someone who you train together. You guys are dying together in the off season, training, trying to be good. You guys put in all this work, you're studying, and you go out there as a team and you're going against someone else. For me, I was a guy that I would get a little fearful. So it's nothing like it when you have a guy on your team which we would call was a dog.
Okay.
He's like he's a dog off the
He's
chain.
afraid.
He's gonna make a play. He's gonna fire you up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's gonna rally the troops. It's unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
I love the team aspect of it. Now, leadership. I think football has some of the greatest leaders in our world, in our country.
I totally believe it.
I think there are guys I've played with that I said, oh, this guy has unbelievable leadership qualities.
Dude could be president.
Yes, like that,
Okay,
like a general. Like I've gone against guys like that. There's one player many people know of, Ray Lewis.
Okay.
I think Ray Lewis is one of the great leaders in our country. The ability to rally players. Speaking to guys who played with him, he said everyone's level
That's so cool,
gets
man.
better.
What a legacy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people say about you, like just being around you.
Now, the hard thing about being a leader, I think people in the context of a team sport, a leader can either be, or a team in general, whether a business team, whatever it is, you can be the guy that's iron fist to where people don't where people may not respect you because you're too much.
Yeah. They don't care maybe about you. They just care about winning.
Yep. Or you can be the one that's like, hey, they're not listening to me. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. And I think sometimes I would fall into that category because I was a 4-time captain for the Bengals.
Right. Okay.
I was voted captain by my team 4 years.
Wow.
So I was a leader, but I didn't get in people's faces graciously, or I didn't do it at all.
Right.
I would kind of say, hey, this is what we have to do. When I saw people not doing it, I would tell them, hey, you should do this. This is what we're supposed to do. It's important for us to win. You might not think so, but I know. I've been around the block. And when they won't do it, I kind of just will leave them be.
Gotcha.
But I think to leadership, you shouldn't go looking for conflict, but you can't turn away from it when it's right in front of you.
Absolutely.
And I think I turned away from it when it was in front of me. And the great leaders, they don't turn away from it. They hit it head on.
Is that right?
Not that they're going looking, but they're not afraid of it.
Okay. Yeah, so you mentioned Ray Lewis just as like a actual player who, I mean, you couldn't be around him and not level up. Were there any coaches that were like that, I mean, not even maybe in the NFL, but just throughout your whole career? Or even not in your career, maybe you saw from a distance, a coach that you admired.
Yeah, so I think I played Coach Marvin Lewis my entire career. I think he was a great coach. I played for other coaches that he was able to raise up guys who went on to be head coaches elsewhere. Hugh Jackson, Jay Gruden, Mike Zimmer, all these guys went on to be head coaches elsewhere. Vance Joseph, these are just people I'm thinking of while I was there. But also, there's this coach, he's there right now, Coach Darren Simmons. I thought he was a great leader. I played 9 years for him. He was a special teams coach.
Okay.
He was always attention to detail. He wasn't going to tell us to do something that he wasn't already doing. He was a first guy in, last guy out kind of guy.
Right.
Really a leader, man, and he still is. And when people lead like that, it doesn't mean they will be successful every single day, but they're going to have more success more often than not.
Absolutely.
And just have to respect the guys, man. He wasn't on the sidelines just blowing his whistle as the coach. He was out there running. He's running with you on the field. He's
That's
one
awesome.
of those guys.
In the trenches.
Cool. He's in the trenches, and I think he's a great leader, and I think others do too.
Beautiful. Last maybe football one. What do you miss most about football? And what are you excited to never have to do again in football?
Oh, man, the second question is easy. I'm excited never to have to train in that way anymore. And also, I'm excited not to hit people full speed. Like, I used to love doing it because I felt I had a stronger will.
Yeah.
I was never the fastest, but my will was stronger, so I felt like I would do something that others wouldn't want to do physically. Yep. But after a while, I was like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, my shoulders hurt, this physicality. But the thing, I think something I miss is not playing, not being, it's more like your back is against the wall and you and 10 other guys out there have to find a way.
Yeah.
You guys just find a way.
Right.
There's no, we drew it up in the film room, but coaches aren't out here.
Right.
We get it done.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
Don't let them in. Like, you're on the 1 yard line, they're going in.
Yeah.
Like, don't let them in. It don't matter. Oh, I have to guard him. Oh, he's the best in the NFL. Who cares? You just get it done.
Yeah.
Whether if you gotta hold him, it sounds bad, but if you got whatever you gotta do, just do it.
Yeah, get it done. I love that. That's something I always try to coach people up here because we got a lot of people doing tournaments for the first time, and I say this is maybe your first opportunity ever in life to get into fight or flight and choose to fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, once you get into fight or flight, most of your life, I mean, some people have never been in a street fight. Some people have never been in a real situation. And some people have never played football. We're like, no, we're getting out there and grinding.
Yeah.
So this will be your opportunity. What do you got in there? What do you got in here? Can you make something happen? It's always some of my best memories. I'm sure some games obviously birth of my kids, marriage day,
absolutely.
Beautiful. But some of those days out there, when you get your hand raised, it's just a beautiful moment. That's in your, because there's as an athlete, there's so much more to it than what people see. Like, you're talking about, you think back to the 2-hour commutes there and back to school. Yeah. Like, they see You in the NFL make a good play, but you remember all the things leading up to that, and that's what's so special about it. Like when you choose to fight and come out victorious, it's a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Okay, Bengals prediction for next year.
Bengals prediction.
How are they gonna do?
I don't see how we don't win a Super Bowl.
Dang.
Like we went to the Super Bowl this past year. They, free agency. I think we got better overall. And then we have guys who were rookies who were playing last year who, as I said before, I think your biggest gain is from year 1 to year 2. They're going to be great. You have a few rookies that were able to play almost every game.
Wow.
And just awesome. Their improvement's going to be excellent. The quarterback is great. I've never met him. Heard he's an unbelievable leader. And you live and die by leadership, man. And I think we're going to win it all.
Beautiful. You heard it here first. And then last but not least, what are you doing right now? I know what you're doing, but tell the people what you're doing with the team. And then I want you to also end with, can you quantify the impact faith has made on your career? And if you can, try to just give a few points to that.
That's good. These are good questions. So right now I'm the team chaplain for the Bengals. This will be my second year coming up. I started last year in July, and I am on a volunteer basis. And what that entails is I care for the spiritual needs of the team. I'm there if anyone wants to talk about spiritual things, not just that, but anything. I think I have other ways I can contribute to that organization, not just the players, because my wife helps me out also, and she's with the significant others, the wives,
is that
coaches.
Right? That's awesome. I did not know that.
Noelle,
okay,
she's with them too. And that's what we do. We love what we do.
That's awesome.
But quantifying how much faith has had on my career, what a way you put that sentence. I mentioned this earlier, but I gotta come back to it. My father, he didn't put limits on me. I remember being in high school, I had a coach who coached me when I was young, 7, 8, 9 years old. Okay. And he said, Vinny, they used to call me Vinny. He's like, Vinny, he's a good player, but he's not a Division I player.
A coach said that.
A coach said this.
When you were 7, when you're 7.
Yeah, well, he coached me when I was 7, but at this time I'm like 14, 15.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I'm like, I never knew for sure I was a Division I player, or maybe we get an opportunity in the NFL. But I just say, what if? And my father will always say, you can't put limits on someone. If you work as hard as you can, not to say you can't make, or you definitely will make it, but it's possible. Absolutely. All things are possible to the one who believes. Absolutely. So that was instrumental in my life. And seeing my parents, seeing how my father lived his life, just getting up, going to work every day. I'll give you one story here that really helped me, really kind of centered how I view my life. So my father and I, and my brother, we will walk to the church to work in the food pantry. We had a food pantry in our church, which we will open up to over 100 people. We'll give out over 100 bags every single Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And we had shifts. We would work maybe once a month or once every other week. Okay. And some other people will come in and do it. And there was a guy at the church who wasn't coming. So we had to double up. We were going every Saturday morning. And I'm walking with my father. I'm probably 12, 13 years old. And I'm like, Daddy, he's not doing his end of the bargain. Why? This isn't right. It's not fair. And my father said, you know what? You do everything as unto the Lord. And what he meant by that was, it's okay, because we believe there is a God in heaven that sees all. And he sees it, and he's got your back. He's gonna take care of you. And that was big for me. That's because beautiful. I didn't get drafted when I felt like, hey, maybe I should have. There were times I wasn't starting. I wasn't a starter, which I felt like, I think I should be a starter. There were times I felt like I was getting the end of the short end of the stick. I felt like my leash was shorter than the next man. And I didn't like that. I felt it was unfair, but I still came back to what my father would say, which is, do it as unto the Lord. God sees it. He's going to hold you down. He's got your back. So be grateful. Be thankful. Be thankful you have any opportunity.
That's beautiful. Man, I love that too, what he says. Like, he didn't try to justify the fact that he didn't try to tell you it was fair for a certain reason. He was like, yeah, that's true, but God.
Yeah.
God's got you. He'll make it right.
Yep.
Beautiful. Vinny, I'm proud to call you friend. I'm excited about what you're doing in the future. I couldn't think of a better person to take on that gig as chaplain of the Bengals.
Thanks.
So continued success and be blessed, brother.
Appreciate it, man. This has been good.
Thank you. All right, peace out, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.